Welcome to Wisdom Became Her, that good old safe space where we peel back the layers of trauma so we can start to fully grow in the grace that God so lovingly gives us. If you are new here, I'm glad you found this little corner of healing. Go ahead and subscribe, because if this is reaching you, God is guiding you home. If you are a returning family member, hey, grace and peace family. You already know the love is real here. So let's dive in and let the healing begin, shall we? So before I got started and turned this camera on, I was like, let me listen to some music, because I've had a very quiet day, which I love these days, where I can just have everything be quiet, do nothing. My little one is home yet. Quiet, right? So I was like, you know what? Most of this day's been quiet. Let me put some music on. Put it on shuffle. I put my Lord's playlist on and put it on shuffle. The song that comes on is India Arie's Get It Together. Now, if you have never heard this song, get it together. Let me stop. Go listen to this song, because this song touched me in such a deep way. It already has in the past. But I'm gonna be real. There's something about music that hits very different when you become spiritual. I mean, all music. And this may not be for everybody, but definitely for me. When I listen to songs now, I hear God's undertones. I don't care what song it is. It could literally be a Cardi B song where she's talking about something out of pocket. And there'll be a line in there that is specific, that God is using to get a message across. And if you really pay attention to everything and you recognize when God is speaking to you, you don't miss those little eardrop messages. And this whole song is a message. So I'm going to read y'all the first line on the lyrics. Right? So it starts out with, one shot to your heart without breaking your skin. No one has the power to hurt you like your kin. Kept it inside, didn't tell no one else. Didn't even want to admit it to yourself. And now your chest burns and your back aches from 15 years of holding the pain. And now you only have yourself to blame if you continue to live this way. And she goes into the chorus, get it together. You want to heal your body. All right, we're going to get to the chorus later, but that beginning part is what stuck out to me. Now, it prompted me to look up the year this song came out, because I remember I was in high school the first time I heard this song. And it sure did come out in like 2002. So I had to be no older than 15 or 16. And I remember at that time, I had visited one of my aunts in North Carolina. At the time, she was my favorite aunt. And that summer was an amazing summer. It was a freeing summer. I wasn't under the thumb of my mom. Yes, I did travel with my sisters, but my cousins were there. I had cousins who already lived in North Carolina as well. So, and my favorite cousin, Kendrick, who I grew up with, was out there. So it was nice being able to feel some sort of normalcy. Because growing up, when my grandmother passed when I was around 10, our family kind of just diverged. So everything I knew about family, and I was one of the oldest grandkids that could still, the youngest grandkids that could still understand what was going on. That was very hard for me. And I feel like my family never knew how hard it was for me, because for the first 10 years of my life, I knew a family dynamic that was very cohesive, where I was at my grandmother's house all the time. They made dinners together. I saw them all the time. And when my grandmother passed, I never saw my aunts, never saw my uncles, never see my cousins. Like, it would be like a few days out of a month, out of a whole year. Something like that, if I did see them, and then maybe go 2 years and not see them again. So it was hard. It was definitely very hard, because I knew a different type of life before then. So then it's like, family dynamic was just, it felt broken, felt disconnected, and very jaded, because it felt like, since I'm very big on energy and I always have been, it felt like they didn't love each other. I couldn't understand it, because they were pushing that family is everything. Family is closeness. Family is this. And yet, I saw none of that. Now, at this point in time, like I said, I was about like 15-ish. Spent the summer in North Carolina with my aunt and my cousins. It was great. It was a great summer. I pretty much, had my niece Kiana hooked on me. She was literally, I will tell anybody this, that was my first baby. Like, absolutely loved Kiana, and that was my girl. Didn't get to spend much time with her after that summer. But yeah, forever. She will forever be imprinted in my heart. And when I came back, I remember telling my mom that I wanted to move to North Carolina with my aunt. Both of her sons were adults and out of the house, so it was just her living on her own in North Carolina. And I asked my mom, could I just go live with my aunt? That I knew that if I left New York and I went to live with my aunt, and I lived out there specifically, she had a beautiful house. She had earth. She had dirt that I could play in. And I was like, that's it. That's all I need. Give me some dirt. And I knew that if I left New York, my rate of success when it came to all of my endeavors, finishing school, being focused on myself, maintaining like my discipline, my headstrong ability, it would not be corrupted. I knew it. I knew it deep down. I knew how to go to college, everything. I knew everything that I wanted to do. If I could begin it there, I'd get it done. I told her, and she told me no. And the no isn't what hurt the deepest, because at that time, my clairaudient was very relevant, and I had no idea. When she told me no, I heard, so she could get the credit of you being successful? Nah, you stay here. You're going to have to do it here or you're not doing it at all. That's what I heard. So where out of her mouth she may have said no, her energy read something completely different. And I read it off of her. And it hurt so deeply because even though, like, first, I'm still learning myself. So it's, did I hear what I heard? And what I heard hit me so deeply that I couldn't not believe that it was true. Because even with the way she said no, it might as well have been what I heard. So for the longest time, I was in battle with myself on if she said no because she loved me and wanted me to stay, or if she said no because of the reasons I heard, which was she could care less about what I needed. It was more so, I'm not going to allow my sister to get credit for your success. And I had to say, one, I wasn't at the time mentally strong enough to be able to be like, I'll leave. I know how to get me a bus ticket and dip. I didn't know those types of things. I was very much shielded from things like that. So, being told about runaways and stuff like that. I mean, when nowadays kids would be like, oh, I'll run away. Bold. When I was young, they'd be like, I'll run away. Run away? How you gonna eat? You got no job? We thought about this type of stuff. Us who were born in the 80s, we thought about it. Now, of course, I still grew into who I needed to be. The trajectory was still going to be what it was supposed to be. There was nothing that was going to stop how I was going to grow into myself. And it probably didn't even matter whether or not I was going to be there or here. But hearing this song reminded me deeply of those moments, because I honestly can say, even the first line of that song, no one has the power to hurt you like it can. My family has done the most painful things to me. And I mean, in separate facets, because it's been, the family who I grew up with. And then when I got married, my husband might as well have treated me like a person in the street, the way that he decided he was going to live his life. And then on the outskirts, pretend like it was not that way. That he was just Mr. Mistake. Yeah. Now, the next lines of the song is kept it inside, didn't tell no one else, didn't even want to admit it to yourself. Oh my gosh, the truth. The truth is wild and crazy because, again, this song rung so clear as to how my life played out. Because who are you going to tell when, you are suffering at home emotionally and mentally, that you know that this is not where you need to be, this is not where you want to be, and your whole, maybe from 12 years old all the way through, you're plotting your exit. And you don't even care how you exit. You just need to exit. And you can't tell anybody this. Because as much as I could say that my mother was present, she still was very neglectful of me. And on top of that, she worked with young girls in mentorship programs and things like that. She was big in the church. So the people who you would probably go to say, I need someone to speak to. I need someone who can hear me, who can help me understand me and validate what I'm going through. The fear of them not believing you because her outward projection, just like my husband's outward projection, didn't match what you were dealing with when you dealt with that person. It was deep. It was very much deep. Then we go on to the next line. From 15 years of holding that pain, I told you, 15 was when I told her I wanted to move to North Carolina and I had to stay. I'm just now starting to even tell y'all, and this is well after 35. Now, 15 to 30 is already 15 years. Now, I had semi-freed myself, but I walked out of one prison and right into the next self-imposed prison, thinking that I was escaping my discomfort, my rearing. And it was not the case. So I will definitely tell you, like, when you really dig deep and you think about what you've gone through and how you've allowed it to frame who you became, because, and the reason why I say this is because I very much had to be self-sacrificial as a young adult. I was always taught to be responsible for my sisters who were 3 years younger than me. So it wasn't like, I had a whole 5 years over them. That's authority. When they're 2 to 3 years younger than you, they don't look at you as an authority. And then it's 2 of them. And then the way it was pushed as well was, you're definitely not the authority. No one respects you, and they're not going to respect you either. But anything they do reflects on you getting in trouble. I can't tell you how many times I got in trouble for the things they did. And it was either because, why didn't you stop them? You're the oldest. Like, those things that are said that are, they attribute to trauma. They do. They attribute to the trauma. And these were things I couldn't discuss. These were things I was told, you don't tell people your business and your household. And that's one of those things that they have going in Black families, where you can't speak on your injustices. And if you do, you're vilified. You are wrong. How dare you tell your family's business? How dare you make your family look bad? All these things. And I had to really understand what I no longer was willing to deal with anymore. And it caused me to exit. But again, there still was so much to unpack, to dig deep in, that I did walk myself right into a different type of prison. I went from one place right into the hands of a narcissist because I didn't know what to look for. We didn't know the stories of my mother growing up and who she dated, because what she wanted to keep upheld was that Christian look. No, I served the Lord. Don't worry about what I did before it. Those stories matter. And I make sure to tell my girls those stories because it does matter. You want to keep the past at bay, but use it. Now, to go into the second verse, one, I will tell you, I don't remember listening to this song all the way through. And I think it was because that first verse hit so heavy and it spoke so deeply to what was going on, and I couldn't quite unpack it yet. So it just was so much. And India, you little do you know, you was pushing the Lord's work out there, girl. Because again, music never dies. I love this. Music never dies. It is relevant always. So this is why I love channeling, especially through music. I channel through music all the time. And yeah, this is why musical, it doesn't. It doesn't. In all genres, it doesn't. The second verse goes, dark future ahead of me. That's what they said. I'll be starving if I ate all the lies they fed. 'Cause I've been redeemed from my anguish and pain. A miracle child, I'm floating on a cloud. 'Cause the words that come from your mouth, you're the first to hear. Speak words of beauty, and you will be there. No matter what anybody says, what matters most is what you think of yourself. India, India, India. Did you know you was going to be the gateway to my healing, girl? Comment, listen. Butterflies. We just gonna comment some butterflies, y'all. That is truly my story. I was told in so many different ways how I would not succeed at life, how my dreams could never come true, who I wanted to be. It didn't even matter for me to have a dream. In so many ways. No one believed in anything that I wanted for myself. I had to believe in it for me. Even to get to where I am today. So deep. So deep. And my redemption came from my connection with God. And this was something that I always had, but needed to deepen. And once I did, I remember thinking, people who said that they were really, really close to God. There were times I didn't believe people who said it. Oh, God is ahead of my life. But they would say it in that way, that superficial way. I'm one who's really big on energy. And I believe that that's the reason why I never really believed it, because the ones who were saying it weren't saying it from that place of actual doing. They were saying it from that place of, this is what you say when you were Christian. My walk with God, people have no idea. People have no idea how that was my redemption. I needed to be where I am today. I needed to become who I am today. I have no idea who that person was that I was living before. And that is something that is very important to understand. When you are living in a way that keeps the world from attacking you, that is complete survival mode. It does something to your subconscious. You have to literally hide yourself. I remember having to do a meditation one time to do some inner child healing. And when I went into this was an hour-and-a-half meditation that I was in. Yes, sitting hour and a half. And I had to literally close my eyes and energetically go within and go find my inner child. My inner child was so hidden that I don't, if it was a person, there's no way that person was surviving. I mean, behind boxes and everything. And then what you got is a 4x4 square of a person who's balled up to the knees, fetal position, just terrified. And that's what my inner child was. And my inner child was like that for years. Imagine living like that in real life. But you are technically, if you are not living your truest self. Ugh, this journey was crazy. I've enjoyed it. I'm sorry to say it though. People would probably be like, oh my God, you've been through so much. I wouldn't trade it. Everything that I know now, I needed to know, and I only could know through this walk that I'm on. what's even more relevant about being on this walk is, yes, the purpose was to teach me who I am, who I needed to become, who I wasn't, and why it all occurred, what I was learning in the process. But the biggest takeaway for me was the ability to help others who went through similar situations. Because I've been through so many different types of trauma situations and come out of them and healed them. Who better to teach somebody else how to do it? And even more importantly, I have the tools. I not only learned how to reprogram the way my mind decided it was going to view these things, getting out of being in a victim mindset, understanding why these things needed to happen, and not like why I needed to be, cheated on by my husband, or why I needed to be a neglected child. Not looking at it like that, more along the lines of what being in that position does to you negatively and how to overcome going the negative route. Because if I would have allowed myself to become broken by the trauma, I would indeed breed broken children. If I didn't overcome those things, I would have let it defeat me. I've met a lot of people who have been through the situations I've been through, and they've been so broken by it, they've become homeless, drug abusers, people who victimize others. Like, this is commonly how it goes when people go through trauma and they never heal from it. I decided to heal so that others who have been through it don't have to heal alone. And that's why I do what I do. That's why I am so pleasant. This is why I have such a universal and understanding viewpoint when it comes to the world and the things we deal with. Because learning to accept that your soul had lessons it needed to learn. Granted, you may be, why did I have to learn it like that? Listen, good things don't teach things easily. I will say, when good things happen to you, it rarely teaches you something. If you succeed your whole life and never fail, if you fail one time, that failure hits you so hard, you don't even know how to bounce back. And that's why. Because in order to really become a resilient soul, you got to go through some things. And this is why we are on earth anyway. Earth school is to teach you through the most rigorous instruction plan. You are supposed to go through the wildest experiences here on earth because there's no limits. That's the whole point, is that you pretty much can go in any direction. You need to overcome it. And I overcame mine so that I can teach others how to overcome theirs. So as long as you are willing to look at those bumps and bruises and heal them, bandage them up, accept them, accept the beauty in them. Because those areas, they make you a healer as well. If you've been through being neglected, you know what it feels like to not have someone be there for you. You're the perfect person to be around someone else, to be there for somebody else. If you are somebody who's been in a marriage where you were taken for granted, taken advantage of, you are the perfect person to show somebody how to validate themselves, how to love themselves, because you know what it's like to not love yourself and to lose yourself. Learning how to transform that, once you've transformed your own mindset, it's beauty. It's just pure beauty. It shows on the inside and the outside. All right, I'm going to leave this right here. Hope you enjoyed this video as much as I enjoyed making it. Feel free to like, comment, share, and subscribe if you haven't already. And I'm going to catch you in the next one, family. Love and light and peace.